We learned so much from Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all these different people, but one thing we didn't learn or didn't get from them is they weren't entrepreneurs. So there's only so much you can push things when you dependent on other people for your funds. So that's kind of what brought us to the businesses and the economic, and actually going after one of the industries that's the most heavily exploited in the Black community, which is the beauty and hair care line. So we know we do a lot of money in these areas, but we have really zero ownership, real ownership in these areas. So that's what kind of brought us to here, the Black store, and one of the representatives of what we're trying to do and let it be that change and example. So, of course, I grew up here in Houston, 3rd Ward, Texas. I had stopped working the job in 2017. Black store didn't get birthed till 2020. So obviously I got my real estate license, we wrote books, did other stuff in between those, and I never could come up with nothing that I call it buying back your time. And we just wasn't finding an industry until I found my partner. He invited me to a meeting at his house, and he had all the beauty supply owners there, or at least most of them, the Black ones that was here in Houston. And that just kind of put me in the mindset of we going after the wrong things. And so that's what made me kind of start thinking about the Black store and how could we do more and develop it. And once we got into it, we realized that this was an industry definitely worth going after. Who owns your community? Even when it comes to this community, we did a 5-mile radius of this store, and we own only about 20% of the businesses. We give away over $1 billion every year, just in this neighborhood, 5-mile radius of this store. So what we've been doing is doing these same researches for all the different Black communities here in Houston, and just seeing what we own and what we offer. And a lot of times we don't own a lot of our communities.
It's called the Black store. How does that sit with all the people in the Houston community who are not Black?
I think more than anything, it's more of a representation. That's why I tell people it's called Beauty Supply Experience, not Beauty Supply Store, because it's more than just a store. I feel like it allows them to let them know, like, hey, this is something for us. And even other people from other races, they come in and say, hey, they come and confirm, like, hey, this is a Black-owned store, just so they can patronize, and we appreciate that too, because everybody gets the same level of service. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
The Black store is a representation of, we want to also not only give the products that people want, but then start highlighting more of the Black-owned products that people have been passing over or not knowing in more of the Black community. So what we did was put together a model where we can have more Black-owned brands. We have a whole aisle of nothing but Black-owned brands to kind of bring that economics back to us and that identification method of our partners and people that actually have these different brands in the community. So we put it together to be more of not just a beauty supply store, but we have the nail shop in back, we have the community garden, and we have other stuff in development now, just to make it make sense. So I feel like just the whole effective plan of the beauty supply and the industry is not only to offer these services and products that we haven't been available to, but also to give that highlight of our own products and our own economics and seeing which brands will maybe rise to the top.
We're usually looking for folks that we can help catalyze and grow their business. But if somebody isn't doing that initial work of helping them understand the basics and think through things, it's tough because you need to have that loving relationship. Because giving somebody feedback that their business idea doesn't make sense can be really hard. People get angry and don't want to talk to you anymore. So I can't do that with, all over the world. But by finding people like you who are doing that kind of work, it makes it where you can groom them, get them along, and then we can show up and help take it to the next level. That's what we're trying to do.
And you speaking my language, because I told somebody, I had one of my friends that was a football player, and I said, think about it. Each one of y'all give roughly $50,000 to $100,000 a year to a toy drive, a turkey drive, or something like that. I say, think if we started a nonprofit that was an incubator for just Black-owned businesses, and each one of y'all invested y'all money in. I say, not only could you don't even have to give away money. You can give away money for equity, and guess what? In a short period of time, it could be its own working model of just giving money back to businesses to make it happen.
I know you've got a lot of things going on, but if you had funding for an accelerator or incubator for folks, do you know any folks who could?
Oh yeah.
Well, tell your football friends that whatever they donate, I'll match.
Okay.
And so definitely we can put together something here to keep building on what you're building on. And Yeah, anything that they contribute, well, up to 500,000 will match.
Okay. Look, I'm with it 100%. So many things that we can say, hey, bet if you don't have a driver's license, that's the thing you need, come over here, let's identify you, let's fingerprint, let's get whatever you need and get that done. But it's a reason why they don't do it. I can't tell you what that is, but I see a lot of practical things that can be done that's not done. They rather create a task force to come pick up homeless and take you to a holding facility rather than to get you the services that you need to get you on your feet.
Yeah. And
that's the kind of perpetuation of things that we see.
Yeah.
Not services to help, is more services to hinder, or perpetuate that hindrance of you being in that state. Just dealing with our own people and our own behaviors and our own ways of doing things that we can do better. So just my own reality, seeing where I came from, seeing where we are, and that just made me want to make a change. And like they say, you know better, you do better. So it was more of my knowing better, then now I had to put it into practice and do better.